I would like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Ashley Arcienega. Mrs. Arcienega, could you please raise your hand? She's sitting in the back of the room. Please ask her for a listening device if you would like interpretation services. Antes de llamar a la Junta ahora me gustaría notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta. La señora Arcienega está sentada atrás. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of April 1st, 2025. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Soto.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Here.
And Mayor Patino.
Here. City Attorney, Mr. Watson, would you please give the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. With respect to items 3A, B, and C, instructions were provided to the negotiators and the attorneys on this issue, and no further report is necessary.
Thank you. Now we will be presenting proclamations. Councilmember Soto, would you like to present your proclamation?
Yes. Madam Mayor, I would like to present the proclamation for Donate Life Month to be accepted by Scott Burns. Whereas organ, eye, tissue, marrow, and blood donation are life-giving acts recognized worldwide as expressions of compassion to those in need, and more than 103,000 individuals nationwide and more than 23,000 in California are currently on the National Organ Transplant waiting list. And on average, 17 people die each day while waiting. And whereas the need for donated organs is especially urgent in the Hispanic, Latino, and African American communities, and a single individual's donation of the heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and small intestines can save up to 8 lives. And whereas donation of tissue can save and heal the lives of more than 75 others, an organ donor saved more than 46,000 lives last year, the most ever, and any person can register to be an organ donor, regardless of age or medical conditions. And whereas being a registered donor does not impact the quality of life-saving medical care a person receives in an emergency. And whereas California residents can sign up with the Donate Life California Donor Registry online at any time by visiting www.donatelifecalifornia.org, or for Spanish speakers, www.donevidacalifornia.org. California residents can sign up to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor when applying for or renewing their driver's licenses or ID cards at the California Department of Motor Vehicles. And whereas California residents interested in saving a life through living kidney donation may visit www.livingdonationcalifornia.org. Now, therefore, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaims April 2025 as Donate Life Month in the City of Santa Maria. In doing so, we encourage all Californians to check yes online or when applying for or renewing their driver's license or ID card at the DMV. And this is to be accepted, this proclamation is to be accepted by Scott Burns.
Proclamation. 10 years ago, I got a kidney transplant. My donor had died suddenly. I got a kidney. 4 other people got either a kidney, lungs, liver, or a heart. So she helped a lot of people. I've been coming here for the last 10 years honoring her because of what she's done. I'm also here to remind people they should register to be an organ donor, not just to be an organ, but an organ donor. It's April 1st? There's got to be something here. But let me give you some numbers. 10 years ago, when I was giving this presentation, I was saying 10 people died daily while they were waiting for their organ transplant. Now it's 17 people dying daily waiting for an organ transplant. That's about 120 people per week. If 120 people died in an airplane 1 week, it would make national news. Well, people are dying every week, and it isn't making news. We need to get people to get motivated. But things are going better, at least in Santa Barbara County. Now we have an office, a regional office in the county, and Brasida will explain it.
Hi, I want to start saying that thank you for the proclamation on behalf of One Legacy. One Legacy is the organ procurement organization that is now serving the Santa Barbara County. One of my main roles is to go to different hospitals within this county, so I end up going to Marion Regional, to Lompoc, and Santa Barbara. With this, I help our staff back in Azusa help determine organ donor suitability and help individuals like Scott receive their organs. With this being said, we did recently regionalize in Carpinteria. Y también quiero decir que soy nacida y criada aquí en Santa María y con mi trabajo tengo el deseo de poder apoyar y ayudar a mi comunidad. What I said was just I would like to support and help my community because I was born and raised here at the hospital before Marion. It was like the Valley Hospital, I think. So before Marion was the hospital. And otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Burns, and I always look forward to seeing you and hearing your story, and I hope people pay attention and listen, how important that is.
Everyone but my wife. Just leave it at
Thank you. The next proclamation will be given by Councilmember Flores.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I have a proclamation for National Library Week. It says, whereas National Library Week was created in 1958 as a national observance sponsored by the American Liberty Library, sorry, when you get old, you can't even read this small. Library Association and libraries across the country to celebrate the contributions of library and librarians. Whereas the theme of National Library Week, Draw the Library, promotes the idea that libraries are places for the community to connect with others, the library resources to positively impact their lives, and whereas the Santa Maria Public Library is committed to upholding the value of National Library Week and encouraging community members to discover and connect with the library's varied collection of material resources, and whereas the Santa Maria Public Library is celebrating National Library Week by hosting a variety of programming, embracing Patreon, curiosity throughout the library of things collected, marker space program, and substantial resources on its website. And whereas the Santa Maria Public Library strives to meet the needs of the community through enhanced collection, thoughtful programs, outreach services, and whereas librarians are trained professionals and help people of all ages, backgrounds, find and interpret the information they need to live, learn, and work. Now therefore, I, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby recognize April 6th through the 12th, 2025 as National Library Week. Thank God for our libraries. And today to accept the award is none other than Helen Galvan.
Good evening, Mayor Mayor Patino and City Council members and everyone present. Thank you for your recognition of National Library Week and the positive impact that libraries have on our diverse community. The theme of this year's National Week is Drawn to the Library. So what's the draw? Everything. And who does the draw? Everyone. Literally from babies to the most senior among us, there's something for everyone at the library. Besides books, magazines, movies, there are play and story times for young families, creative projects and makerspace, gardening workshops, discovering new skills, access to technology, support and resources for veterans and seniors, and reading clubs for all ages and interests. The Library of Things offers so many items that can be checked out, from sewing machines to guitars to telescopes. The Bookmobile brings library services and resources to people where they are in the community. This is just a small sample of what's available. Whatever draws you in, the library has something for everyone. So here are some activities set forth by the American Library Association that you may want to consider during National Library Week, April 6th through 12th, 2025. Monday, April 7th is Right to Read Day. Take a look at the American Library Association's State of America's Libraries report for more information on the right to read, and recommit your intention to protect everyone's freedom to read. Tuesday, April 8th is National Library Workers' Day. We encourage you to visit the library one day next week. Doesn't have to be Tuesday, can be any day. But please take the time to thank a library staff member for the work they do to make the library's resources accessible to their patrons in the friendliest way possible. Wednesday, April 8th is National Library Outreach Day. I like to think that our Bookmobile is making it possible for patrons who otherwise could not easily come to the library to have the library come to them, to be able to obtain their library card and check out books regularly, just as I did in Betaravia in 1949, long time ago, when I got my first library card from the Bookmobile that went to the school there every Friday. How many of you remember that? Thursday, April 10th is Take Action for Libraries Day. We encourage everyone to be an advocate, to support libraries. Let's all make a mental note to be more aware of the many library services delivered daily and celebrate that they're made available to everyone in our community. Next week and every week, defend the right to read, thank our library staff, continue outreach, and support libraries. Thank you again for your recognition and continued support of library services.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Ms. Galvan, for serving on the library board. I don't think people realize that there's a group of you that serve on the library board that really help make the library what it is in Santa Maria, because they have the pulse on the needs and the wants here in Santa Maria. And I remember when we built the library, and I had people say, "What do you want a library for? It's obsolete." But, you know, as you can see, there's a lot going on in the library, as there should be. But it's such a place, it's a nice, quiet place when you go inside. I think about, it's just a place, it's just a real nice place you like to be in, the whole atmosphere. And I really like to tell a story. When I was at Santa Maria High, we had a librarian there that actually didn't even like you to touch the books, because you know those 20th century dictionaries they used to have in all the libraries back then? I don't know if they still have them. She didn't even like you to touch that one especially. But, you know, the libraries are much, much more welcoming today than they were back then. Anyway, thank you, Ms. Galvan, very much. The next proclamation is National Community Development Week that will be presented by Council Member Aguilera Hernandez.
Yes, and this is going to be accepted by the Community Programs Division. So whereas the week of April 21 to 25th, 2025 has been designated as National Community Development Week to recognize and celebrate the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, and the Home Investment Partnership, HOME program, And whereas since 1974, the CDBG program has provided annual funding and flexibility to local communities to provide affordable housing, a suitable living environment, and basic human rights. And whereas since 1990, the HOME program has created and preserved affordable housing for low-income families, and whereas annually, the City of Santa Maria receives an average of $1.4 million in CDBG funds and an average of $300,000 in home funds. Now therefore, Alice M. Patino, the Mayor of Santa Maria, does hereby recognize the week April 21st through the 25th as National Community Development Week in the City of Santa Maria to celebrate and showcase the programs and projects which are funded by the federal grant programs like Community Development Block Grants and Home Investment Partnership. In witness hereof, she here sets her hand and has caused the seal of the City of Santa Maria to be affixed hereto this first day of April 2025.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. We accept this as a team, so we're up here as a team. My name is Rosy Rojo. I'm the Community Programs Manager. I'm joined by Alicia Vela, our Grant Specialist, as well as Daisy Ruiz, our Housing and Community Services Technician. And we are here to accept this and also toot our own horn a little bit about what CDBG and home dollars are able to do here in our community.
So in honor of Community Development Week, we'll be sending out a special electronic newsletter to promote some of the programs and projects that have been funded with CDBG and home funding. In addition to celebrate CD Week, we'll also be having a free public fair on Tuesday, April 22nd. And it'll be with local nonprofit organizations. The public's invited to attend and learn about the various services, resources, and programs available to the community. The resource fair will take place at 3 p.m. and it will go until 6:30 p.m. at Shepherd Hall at the Santa Maria Public Library. And also we've included a flyer with your bag that were included on the chair, and there's flyers in the back corner on the red table as well.
Thank you.
Community Development Week is an opportunity to share with the public just how impactful the CDBG and home programs are and what a positive difference they make in our community. On behalf of the Community Programs Division, thank you, City Council, for continuing to utilize this funding to help improve the lives of our residents.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think a lot of people realize. Does it sound like it's on? A lot of people realize that through the home project, the rent assistance program is, and because to get into a rental is what we give them $2,500, and some people don't just have that laying around, and so for the City of Santa Maria to do that for rental assistance is so vitally important to our families. Thank you. So we have, yes, Mr. Escobedo.
Yeah, just have a quick question regarding the City of Santa Maria Human Services Guide. Is this one still on the website as well? Okay, Rosy, I don't know if you mind just promoting where we can find it.
Hi, yes, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Our Human Services Guide is something that our division came up with, came out of need. We would receive a lot of calls from residents asking for information about different nonprofits that would be able to assist them with anything from food to counseling, youth and senior services. So we put together a Human Services Guide. It's in English and in Spanish. It can be accessed on our city's website. It's updated regularly. And we do have QR codes, little cards that you can put in your wallet and at any time access it through the QR code on the little business card. And we encourage any nonprofit that would like to add information to it to just contact us, and we'd be happy to assist.
Yeah, no, I just want to recognize this. This is a great guide, and I usually use it when somebody trying to, gets access to some resources. So just check it out.
Yes.
So good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
The next proclamation will be Fair Housing Month. Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez will be presenting.
Yes, and that's going to be accepted by Madeline Nance, attorney at Legal Aid Foundation of Santa Barbara County. Whereas the City of Santa Maria recognizes that the United States Congress enacted Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, which was amended by the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, and the Fair Housing Amendment Act of 1988 as the directive for fair housing. And whereas fair housing laws outlined by said acts guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunities for all residents of the United States, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. And whereas the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development declares the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month. And whereas the City of Santa Maria contracts with the Legal Aid Foundation of Santa Barbara County to perform random testing and fair housing practices of landlords and property managers, reviews local newspapers for evidence of housing discrimination, assists in resolving discrimination disputes through litigation or referral, makes presentations to Santa Maria adult education classes regarding rights of single parents and ethnic minorities to equal housing opportunities, and conducts community workshops to educate landlords and property managers regarding fair housing. Now therefore, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of City of Santa Maria, does hereby recognize the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the City of Santa Maria and encourages the continued celebration of equal housing opportunities and the process made in opening the doors to housing opportunities for all residents of Santa Maria. In witness hereof, she sets her hand and has caused the seal of the City of Santa Maria to be affixed hereto on this first day of April 2025. And that's not an April Fool's joke.
That's right.
Mayor Patino, council members, city staff, and guests and community members. My name is Madeline Nance. I'm staff attorney at Legal Aid Foundation Santa Barbara County here at the Santa Maria office, which is located right across the street in the 301 South Miller building. Thank you for this wonderful proclamation. I actually had a little bit of an argument with my colleague, Miss Orchid, about who was to receive the proclamation today. We almost flipped a coin for it, but in her graciousness, she realized I'd never had the opportunity to stand in this beautiful building, and it is truly an honor to be here today. For those who are not familiar, Legal Aid Foundation of Santa Barbara County, with our various offices in Santa Barbara, Lompoc, and of course here in Santa Maria, provide free legal services to the community at large. And for more information on all the services we provide, please visit our website at www.lafsbc.org. But with respect to our role in the community to protect individual rights as to fair housing, as Ms. Aguilera Hernandez, Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez just articulated, our goal is nothing less than to work to eliminate housing discrimination and to ensure equal housing opportunity for all. And we do that by advocacy, education, and outreach. And I must say that I would be remiss if I didn't point out that I don't know if the public realizes how interconnected our community services are. And I'm struck by the fact that many of the recipients of the proclamations today I work with and my colleagues work with to bring outreach to the community. And that has been our main focus the past year at Legal Aid Foundation with respect to fair housing rights. And we've worked with numerous community members and community service providers and partners, agencies and programs such as Mixteco Indigena Community Services Project, Family Services Agency, of course the City of Santa Maria, Ms. Rojo and her team. They have been wonderful. And to just piggyback on her announcement of the event that they were promoting, I have an event to also promote that we are doing in coordination with the city through Ms. Rojo's team, the community services team. And it will be a housing rights clinic on Wednesday, April 23rd from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Myself and my colleague will be there available to provide some legal guidance for those who would like to attend. And of course, we will have interpretation available. There are flyers at the back table for anyone who is interested this evening. And of course, we again thank our community partners for working with us to achieve this goal. It is truly an honor to be here. The work continues, but working together, we will achieve what we need to, and that is to protect housing rights in this community for everyone. So thank you again, and this is a wonderful honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Nance. Legal Aid does offer free legal help to anyone who needs it, and I urge everyone to go. And also, if you can volunteer to be one of the testers who goes out into the community, that's really important, because sometimes they get used to the testers, the different organizations. And so if you do have a chance to volunteer one day, it's really just one day that they need people, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you. So the next proclamation is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and Councilmember Escobedo will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This proclamation is for Child Abuse Awareness Month. Whereas child abuse and neglect are community conditions and problem, and finding solutions depends on involvement among people in the community. And whereas Child Welfare Services investigated 2,895 cases in the North County, 2015 on those were in Santa Maria area. Whereas the effect of child abuse and neglect are felt by communities and need to be addressed by the entire community. Whereas North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center and its partners have been committed to educating the community on child abuse and neglect and are sponsoring several events throughout the month to enhance public awareness of abuse in the Northern County of Santa Barbara. These events will provide information and materials that support families to prevent child maltreatment and celebrate people who work with and support children and families. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeeded because of partnership created among social services agencies, schools, youth organization, religious organization, civic organization, law enforcement agencies, and the business community and the residents. And whereas all residents should become more aware of the importance of prevention in the community and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Now, therefore, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, do hereby recognizes April 2025 as Child Abuse Awareness Month in the City of Santa Maria and call on all residents, community agencies, religious organizations, businesses, and medical facilities to increase their participation in the effort to prevent child abuse. And I'm gonna be, do I go ahead and?
Yeah, you can.
They're actually receiving 2 proclamations today, so I'll go ahead and read this second proclamation. The second proclamation is to recognize Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas National Sexual Assault Awareness Month is an annual campaign to raise public awareness about sexual assault and educate communities and individuals on how to prevent sexual violence. And whereas people of all racial, cultural, and economic backgrounds fall victims of sexual violence, which is widespread and impacts every person in the community. Whereas rape and sexual violence of all kinds continue to occur at an alarming rate. More than 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience sexual violence in their lifetime. And whereas emotional and physical scars resulting from sexual violence are often permanent, therefore, working together to educate the community about sexual violence prevention, supporting survivors, and speaking out against harmful attitudes and actions is so important. And whereas a coalition of organizations exists that directly confront this crisis, including the North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center, law enforcement agencies, churches, healthcare providers, and volunteers from the community that serves these agencies who are helping in the effort to end sexual assault. And whereas prevention is possible when everyone gets involved by increasing education, awareness, and community involvement, recognizing the compassion and dedication of those individuals involved in this effort, and noting the challenges of the victims, survivors of sexual assault and their families and friends as they struggle to cope with the reality of sexual violence. Now, therefore, may Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, do hereby recognizes April 2025 as the National Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of Santa Maria and encourage all residents and businesses to participate in this month full to recognize the activity and full of recognition and activities promoted by the North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center to increase awareness of sexual assault and to prevent solutions in an effort to eliminate sexual violence from the city. And here to receive both proclamations, we have Ann McCarty, who is the Executive Director of North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Patino and members of the City Council. It is a great honor to be standing before you tonight to accept these 2 proclamations. As the Executive Director of the North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center, I have witnessed firsthand the power of community and the message it sends to perpetrators when our city stands united in the prevention of sexual assault, child abuse, and human trafficking. More importantly, this proclamation is a testament to the incredible partnership with the City of Santa Maria and its dedicated staff, especially the Santa Maria Police Department. Together, we fight this fight, not as separate entities, but as a united front committed to protecting and empowering survivors. For over 30 years, I've had the privilege of serving the center, watching it evolve and meet the critical needs of those in crisis. We are invited into their world at a time when many feel they must shut the world out. We do not take that trust for granted. Every day, we plant seeds of hope, resilience, and healing, believing that they will take root and help survivors reclaim their lives. Beyond crisis response, we are equally honored to educate, to empower individuals, young and old, to use their voices, to understand that safety exists, and to know where to get help and that it's available. The knowledge that young people are seeking support and telling someone about the abuse because our educators were in their classrooms fuels my passion to keep doing more. So thank you for recognizing the work that we do and for your unwavering support. Together, we are making a difference. And I have So April being Child Abuse Awareness Month and pinwheels really signifying the innocence of youth. We usually do a lot of pinwheel plantings around North County. Our bandwidth is a little bit smaller this year, but we do want to share our pinwheels with you and hope that you spread them around city offices. And when people ask you about them, it's all about hope. It's all about hope. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ann. And thank you for all the work that you do. It's so needed. And, you know, I remember when I was in North County Rape Crisis, and we used to get into arguments with the police and DAs, and, you know, we worked really hard, and we've come a long way. We really are at a different stage, and that's all thankful to the center and all the work that you've done in the last 20 years. So thank you.
We are at a completely different place.
Yes.
So thank you for what you do and where you started. You know, I've lost a lot of good people over the years. But this one sitting up here is one of my greatest losses, but I'm glad she's here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Ms. McCarty, what you do, because anytime we have a resource fair, anytime there's anything we need out in the community, you're always there. So, and thank Allison also.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. The next proclamation will be for the Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a chronic progressive neurological disease and is the second most common neurodegenerative disease in the United States. Parkinson's disease is estimated to affect approximately 1 million people in the United States, and the prevalence will rise to 1.2 million by 2030. And whereas Parkinson's disease is the 14th leading cause of death in the United States, with an estimated economic burden of at least $52 billion annually, covering direct and indirect costs such as treatment, Social Security payments, and the lost income for patients and their families. And whereas research suggests the cause of Parkinson's disease is a combination of genetic and environmental factors, but the exact cause and progression of the disease is still unknown. And whereas the symptoms of Parkinson's disease may vary from person to person and can include tremors, slowness of movement and rigidity, difficulty with balance, swallowing, chewing, and speaking, cognitive impairment and dementia, mood disorders, and a variety of other non-motor symptoms. And whereas volunteers, researchers, caregivers, and medical professionals are dedicated to improving the quality of life for individuals with Parkinson's disease and their families. Increased research, education, and community support, like those offered by the Parkinson's Foundation, are essential for finding better treatment and ensuring access to quality of care for those affected by the disease. Now, therefore, I, Allison Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaim April 2025 as Parkinson's Awareness Month in the City of Santa Maria, and encourage all residents to take the opportunity to learn more about Parkinson's disease and support those affected and promote awareness efforts within our community. And this has been witnessed and the seal of the City of Santa Maria this first day of April 2025. And here to receive this is April Huckabee, founder and coach of Neurofighters.
Mayor Patino and City Council members, I am deeply honored to accept this proclamation recognizing, Miss Emotional here. Recognizing April as Parkinson's Awareness Month. This acknowledgement underscores our collective commitment to supporting those affected by Parkinson's disease and advancing our efforts towards treatment and ultimately a cure. Parkinson's disease is the second most common neurodegenerative disorder in the United States, following Alzheimer's. Currently, 1 million individuals nationwide are living with Parkinson's, and that number is projected to rise to 1.2 million by 2030. Each year in the US, approximately 90,000 Americans receive a Parkinson's diagnosis. According to the Michael J. Fox Foundation, approximately 117,000 individuals with Parkinson's are living in our state of California. This figure highlights the substantial number of fellow Californians confronting the challenges posed by this condition. The seriousness of Parkinson's disease is further emphasized by mortality data. While typically you don't die from Parkinson's, you die with Parkinson's. In 2022, there were 4,289 deaths attributed to Parkinson's, however. That's the highest number of any state in the entire country, here in California. While these statistics are sobering, there is hope locally found in our organization called Neurofighters here in Santa Maria. At Neurofighters, we believe that Parkinson's does not define a person, and through movement, strength, and determination, individuals can take back control of their lives. We provide non-contact boxing and functional exercise programs specifically designed to help those living with Parkinson's improve mobility, balance, and coordination. Beyond exercise, we equip our participants with lifestyle management skills that empower them to maintain independence, build confidence, and improve their quality of life. Through camaraderie, support, and the mindset of a fighter, we help these individuals push back against the limitations Parkinson's tries to impose. We have seen firsthand how movement is medicine, and how an active, engaged approach to living with Parkinson's can make a world of difference. These statistics are more than just numbers. They represent our neighbors, friends, and family members whose lives are affected by Parkinson's. They remind us of the urgency to support ongoing research, provide comprehensive care, and raise public awareness. As we observe Parkinson's Awareness Month, we reaffirm our dedication to those impacted by the disease. I have about 12 fighters here today. They're in my classes. I have about 60, but there's about 12 here. Through continued advocacy, education, and support, we work together to improve the quality of lives for individuals with Parkinson's. Thank you for standing with us in this vital endeavor. And I'd like to invite any of you that would like to come boxing with us. We're at the Marion Health and Wellness Center, and we will get you a pair of gloves.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Oh, Mr. Escobedo.
April, what can I say? I've known you for so many years, and just speak with the heart, and you help the community with it, and you cannot fake that. And thank you for everything you do, and it's I've known more behind what happened behind the scenes of your organization, and it's a lot that you do. It's a lot. So thank you for everything that you do for not just for the people with that are going through Parkinson, but with their families. It affects everybody at the end of the day. So thank you for everything you do.
And I've seen, and that's how I met April, is through someone I know, and just in the mobility that he was able to gain back, I just think is amazing. So, and there's so much we don't know still about Parkinson's, but boy, we're getting to know more, and how important that is to really just not fight back mentally, but physically also. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a public comment. Madam Clerk, could you please read the criteria?
Speakers may provide public comment on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for a public comment period. Unless a majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954-2A2, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Thank you. I have 5 requests to speak. You'll be given 3 minutes apiece. Esther Jensen, followed by Diego, Juan, Adeline, Maribel, Yagi, followed by Hilda Zacarias, followed by Angelina Jimenez. Esther, would you like to speak?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and citizens of Santa Maria. My name is Esther Jensen. I'm a resident of the La Maria Senior Mobile Home Park here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Manufactured Homeowners Team, or as we call ourselves, NSBIT, and all the Santa Maria homeowners, residents who need relief from uncontrolled raising rents. Gary Hall could not be here again, but has asked me to remind you that we need your help. You all know that you created a model lease in November of 2019 that was to solve the mobile home affordability issue. Well, it didn't. You also remember that you passed a motion in June of 2022 with the intent of either improving the model lease or replacing it. Well, neither happened. We still think we deserve to be treated like mobile home residents in other area cities that listen to their citizens and have provided them with a real mobile home rent situation, stabilization. Please bring the mobile home rent stabilization back to the agenda. And tonight, I'm asking, as I asked the last time, that you also put on the agenda the necessary action to prevent Santa Maria Senior Mobile Home Parks from inappropriate conversion into all-age parks. The Santa Barbara County Board of Supervisors recently stepped up. Within 4 months, they took the necessary action to prevent this from happening to senior mobile home parks in the county. It's time for the city of Santa Maria to take up similar action. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen. So I have, Hilda, did you want to speak during the public comment or public comment for CDBG? You, oh, okay. Okay, double T, yes, okay. So I have Diego, Juan, Yagi, Adeline, and Maribel. Did you want to speak during public comment or during CDBG comment? Okay, you're on.
And a double as well.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, esteemed council members, and guests. My name is Diego Ramirez, and we are all here with Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley's Youth Action Coalition. I'm a 7th grader at Jimenez Elementary, and I am a part of Youth Action Coalition. I am passionate about anti-bullying campaigns, going to the University of Oregon, and meeting Abel Maldonado. Last month, some of our Youth Action Coalition got to go to a conference called Youth Quest in Sacramento. I was fortunate enough to go. The conference was centered around youth who are passionate about advocating for a tobacco-free California. My favorite part of the trip was we were going to meet Greg Hart, but unfortunately we weren't able to meet him, but we were able to meet one of his representatives.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members. My name is Juan Martinez, and I'm an 8th grader at Tommy Coons Junior High School. I am a part of the Youth Action Coalition, and I am passionate about preventing tobacco use. I also had the opportunity to attend Youth Quest, and my favorite part about the whole conference was getting the chance to meet new people and to collaborate with them. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, Madam Mayor and esteemed council. My name is Yaki, and I am a sophomore at Pioneer Valley High School. Apart from also attending Youth Quest, another opportunity we have been able to participate in was writing a grant for Youth Making Change. We applied for a $3,000 grant in October, and in February, we were awarded the full amount. The grant was entirely youth-written, and with the money awarded, we will be able to enhance clubs and wellness centers in high school campuses. And here in Santa Maria on substance education and prevention, specifically, like that mainly focuses like on alcohol, cannabis, tobacco, and nicotine use.
Good afternoon, Mayor and esteemed council. My name is Mayra Garcia, and I am a 7th grader at Fester Junior High. There is a big group of us who are part of the Youth Quest Action Coalition who care about our community and living healthy lifestyles without substance. April is Alcohol Awareness Month, and so we have been making different campaigns to share in our social media, with include Instagram and TikTok. We would love to leave you all with a couple flyers highlighted our recent accomplishments. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and esteemed councilman. My name is Adirene Espinosa. I'm a senior at Pioneer Valley High School, and we are so excited to attend the next council meeting on April 15th to support Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley to accept the National Awareness Month proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members, for your time. Have a great evening.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up and speaking. I know that's not easy. You guys all did great. Thank you.
Hilda Zacharias. Followed by Angelina Jimenez. Followed by Eileen Pickle.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm so proud of you. So thank you. And public speaking, they say that is the greatest fear of Americans, even more than snakes and inflation. So I am Hilda Zacharias, and I am lucky enough and honored to serve as the Executive Director of Community Partners in Caring. And my partner in all things, Midge Nicosia, will be sharing some items specific to our CDBG activities, but I am here to express our gratitude. First, I would like to express our gratitude to all of our community partners, all of the wonderful folks who came, and Ellen Hancock College for hosting the first in more than 20 years Senior Expo on March the 14th. Yay! We had over 200, almost 300 folks, plus almost 200 participants, come to the Joe White Memorial Gymnasium to find out about what resources are out there for aging adults. And one of the things I learned shortly after arriving in my new position is that I am, in fact, an aging adult. And there is so much for us to learn, not just for ourselves, but for our elders in our community. And at Community Partners in Caring, without all of you and all of our partners, we wouldn't be able to do the work we do. Specifically, I'd like to thank the City of Santa Maria departments that attended, the community programs, the bookmobile was there, which was just wonderful, and we appreciated everyone's participation. Finally, I would like to end by thanking the CDBG team, especially the members of the public who serve as volunteers for the CDBG process. People sometimes ask me, Hilda, why do you spend so much time on CDBG? It's not that much money. And I said, are you kidding? I says, this is about getting my community's seal of approval for the work we do. And so when I talk about the monies that mean the most to us, it is the CDBG funds, because they come to us through the hearts and through the thoughtfulness of our CDBG volunteers. So thank you to the community members, thank you to the City Council for remaining committed to taking these funds and helping them grow programs that are so important to ease suffering in our valley. Thank you.
Thank you. And we also need to thank Community Partners in Caring, because you guys provided the shuttle to bring people in. Not only is that a long parking lot for the elderly when they have to walk it, but it was raining that day too. So thank you. Angelina Jimenez. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. And I'm going to talk about something that a lot of people, I feel like, don't want to talk about it, but there's a lot of homeless people in Santa Maria, and I'm very familiar with tragedy from the upbringing I have. I've had 2 brothers that passed away on the streets, and I just want, my reason for speaking today is to ask for Santa Maria Valley to hold accountable the organizations that are instilled in this valley to help with homelessness and people with mental illness. Because I've done everything, I'm a witness, I've done everything I can. I've called the Access Line, I've called Medi-Cal, I've called Surf 2, I've gone to the Good Samaritan shelter, and I'm trying to prevent the family members that I have that are on the streets. I'm trying to help them, and I keep getting roadblocks, and I feel like there's discrimination. And I just want to ask, just some way, somehow, like that for equality and fairness, for people to be given a fair chance. And it's more challenging when they have mental illness, because sometimes they might not understand. They might think this person just has an addiction or has anger issues, but sometimes they don't understand they might be bipolar or schizophrenic. And I've gone back and forth, bouncing around, talking to people, trying to get the right treatment, and there's like huge waiting list, and I'm just asking for accountability, please.
Thank you. Ms. Jimenez, I have your phone number here, and you will be contacted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eileen Pickle. Eileen Pickle. Oh, there she is. Good evening, Ms. Pickle.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see all of you. I just have one brief question. I hope it's brief. Anyway, I'm going to ask, why is it that you, Madam Mayor, and the City Council do not have enough or sufficient respect for the people of the City of Santa Maria to have a contract with the city firefighters? That is my question. So once in a while I come to the City Council meetings and observe, and some of the City Council members are encouraging for the firefighters, and that's much appreciated. But hopefully in the near future, or immediately, whenever that is, that you will give support and actually have a valid contract with the firefighters, who I know from personal experience and community experience that families and individuals really do depend on the firefighters to come in medical emergencies. Thank you very much for your time, and keep up the good work, and please continue on with improving what you've got to do.
Thank you, Ms. Pickle. That concludes public comment. We'll now move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have any items they wish to pull for discussion? No? Ms. Escobedo?
Yeah, I don't want to pull, just a question for clarification. Item 11A5.
11A5. Okay. And could you please read that, Madam Clerk?
Adoption of a resolution approving a budget amendment for public education and government for an audiovisual and production solution project for fiscal years 24-25 and 25-26.
Okay. Who wants?
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
just a
Okay.
clarification. When we talk about this amount, where is this money coming from? The request $120,000.
It's coming from of the PEG fees that we get from the right-of-way fees from the Comcast and the other video providers out there. It's not coming from the general fund money at all. This money can only be used for these types of items. So this will be another improvement for the community at the Shepherd Hall as well.
So that's, yeah, so you answered my second question was like, we're not bringing it from the general fund.
That's correct.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay.
There's no question, Madam Mayor. I would like to make a motion to approve
Okay.
the consent calendar.
Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto. And Mayor Patino.
Aye. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 action plan and the 5-year consolidated plan for the block grants program. Community Programs Manager Rosie Rojo, there you are. Give the staff report.
Thank you, Madam. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. We come before you tonight to conduct a public hearing to receive comments as part of our drafted fiscal year 25-26 Community Development Block Grant Action Plan. Also, tonight, we ask that you consider the Block Grants Advisory Committee's recommendation for allocation of CDBG public services and capital funds, as well as each council member will allocate funds totaling $37,500 to public service programs. Also, you are asked to review and approve the overall allocations and contingencies for the drafted CDBG action plan and review the drafted 5-year CDBG consolidated plan. A little bit of background. As you heard earlier during our CD Week proclamation, CDBG is a program administered by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD. CDBG's main requirement is that the city's activities and projects meet one of 3 national objectives, in particular to serve low to moderate income people and areas. Nearly 2/3 of the city's population is considered low to moderate income, so this means that most of the city's residents benefit from these CDBG dollars. Our Block Grants Advisory is made up of volunteers who have spent countless hours reviewing agency applications, conducting site visits, and generating reports. Before you tonight are the proposed recommendations that the committee voted on. Before proceeding, I would like to thank our committee members for dedicating their time and hard work to help ensure our CDBG dollars fund projects and programs that positively impact the community. And to put them on the spot, there's 2 committee members here tonight joining us, Mackenzie Greeley and Bob Doyle. If you don't mind standing up. They have worked very hard to review every single application, information provided to them, conduct site visits, along with other volunteers. And what you see tonight is what they have worked really hard on and have proposed. So while we don't know exactly how much we're going to be receiving for 25-26, we anticipate we'll be receiving about what we received last year. So that is what we are estimating tonight's allocations on. That's why we're also adopting contingencies, just in case we get more or less funding than anticipated. So on the screen, you'll see we do have a 15% cap. That is a HUD-imposed requirement that we can't spend more than 15% of our allocation on public services. That's why we're allocating approximately $209,000 for public services. Capital projects will get about $956,000. General administration is also capped at 20%, so that's $268,000, with fair housing allocated $10,000. As part of our funding process, a community needs assessment took place Monday, July 22nd, 2024. So we start this process pretty much a year in advance. We received public input and discussed community needs and priorities. The expressed needs aligned with the existing CDBG funding priorities, and therefore the committee did not change the priorities outlined in the 5-year consolidated plan. The annual priorities were adopted by the City Council on August 20th, 2024. A notice of funding availability was then issued on Thursday, August 22nd, 2024, and a mandatory pre-application workshop was conducted on Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Applications for both public services and capital projects were due Sunday, November 24th, 2024. Staff received 17 applications for public services and 1 application for capital. Additionally, the Community Programs Division requested capital funding to assist with administrative costs associated with its tenant-based rental assistance security deposit program. That program is funded with home dollars, as Mayor Patino mentioned earlier today. However, it does not allow for us to use that funding for administrative purposes. So to cover our administrative costs, that's why we're able to use the CDBG funding to cover our administrative costs of that program. The Block Grants Advisory Committee formed 5 teams to conduct site visits and in-depth application reviews. Each team examined financial statements, tax returns, and audit reports. Before deliberations, teams gathered additional background information from applicants and compiled written reports, which were then shared with the rest of the committee. The deliberation process included 2 public hearings. The first meeting was held on Monday, February 10th. It allowed applicants to address additional questions. Then the second meeting on Wednesday, February 12th, resulted in the committee's funding recommendations, and those are attachments D and E in your packet. So we're going to start off with capital project proposals. The committee followed the City Council's direction expressed on Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, to allocate most of its capital funding to 1 city project. Since we only received one application from the city, and it was pretty simple: Recreation and Parks Department for the city's sports complex. They would get most of the funding, with $15,000 set aside for the TBRA administration. Now the contingency. If we get more capital funding, then we'll give more to the sports complex. If we get less funding, we'll take that money from the sports complex. Either way, the city's TBRA administration allocation will not be affected.
I wouldn't say that aloud, Rosie.
Sorry, Alex. Okay, now to public services. The Block Grants Advisory Committee prioritized funding for programs addressing basic human needs, critical emergencies, senior and youth assistance, and services for the unhoused. Of the 17 public service applicants, 11 are recommended for funding. Now keep in mind, the recommendations don't include the $37,500, which will be allocated by you tonight. So on your screen, you will see, and you also, it's attachment D, you have the list of the agencies being recommended for funding. They are listed in ranking by the Block Grants Advisory Committee. And then to break it up so you see an overview of the recommendations, the majority is going to critical need, followed by programs for the elderly, followed by the unhoused, and then the youth. Now, on your screen, you will see the other applicants, the other 6 applicants that were not recommended for funding during our February 12th deliberations. Now, although all these applicants provide valuable community services, limited funding necessitates careful allocation. Agencies' overall program budgets and their administrative capacities were considered to ensure that services could continue even without CDBG funding. CDBG funds should be used to enhance and expand services rather than sustain or fully support their services. So that's something else that the committee has to look at when allocating funds. And they are also listed on your screen in order of how the committee ranked them during the February 12th deliberations process. Now, our public service contingencies. This one's not as clean and easy as capital. So, if we get an increase in funding, if it's between 0 and 14,999, the funding will be distributed evenly to each agency with a recommendation under 20,000. So if they're currently recommended under 20,000, they would receive an increase. Up to the funding cap, and the funding cap is 10% of our public service allocation. So currently our funding cap is $20,924. If the city receives more than 15,000 but under 30,000, the additional funding will be allocated to the next on the list. So going back, the next on the list is COM. So then 15,000 would go to COM, and then the rest would be distributed evenly throughout the list. Let me go back here. Uh-oh, now I'm stuck. Okay, here we go. There we go, okay. If more than 30,000 is received, funding will be allocated to the next agencies on the list, and the rest will be distributed evenly to all the agencies up to the funding cap. So basically, for every $15,000 that we get, we would be able to fund one more on the list. If we get less funding than anticipated, we would reduce agencies evenly up to the minimum amount of 15,000. If there is a decrease of more than 15,000, then we would also have to start cutting from the bottom. When it comes to public services, each council member has $7,500 to add to an existing public service grant allocation. Each council member's allocation can be split between more than one agency or combined with another council member's $7,500 to fund an organization not being recommended for funding to meet the $15,000 minimum. Please keep in mind that the maximum for any agency is $20,924, which again is 10% of the overall public service funding. Now, moving on to our consolidated plan. This is a 5-year plan that is designed to assist local jurisdictions in assessing their affordable housing and community development needs and market conditions, and to make data-driven, place-based investment decisions. The consolidated plan process serves as the framework for a community-wide dialogue to identify housing and community development priorities that align with the community's needs. To achieve this goal, quantitative data and qualitative input were obtained through robust community engagement efforts. For example, a survey was conducted collaborating with members of our CDBG Urban County Partnership and our Home Consortium to complete quantitative data with more community input. 437 residents and 45 organizations participated, providing valuable insights into our long-term priority needs. An in-person need assessment workshop also took place on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, for City of Santa Maria residents. It was offered in English, Spanish, and Mixtec. Approximately 24 people attended the workshop and shared their thoughts on the unmet needs in the community. The city's citizen participation plan is part of the updated consolidated plan and is also part of the 30-day public review. So all of this is under public review until the end of this month. They can be accessed on our city's website, cityofsantamaria.org/community programs. So the next steps, we're going to open up the public hearing for both capital and public services allocations. Then City Council will discuss and approve the public service allocation recommendations, including each of your $7,500 allocations. City Council will then discuss and approve the capital project allocation recommendation. And then also City Council will approve the contingencies for public services and capital allocations. And then tonight's council recommendations will come back to you on May 6th for a final approval following the 30-day public review, unless we get different direction from HUD based on any allocation amounts that they might not have. They might ask us to delay our process a bit until we receive our actual final numbers. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Any questions from the council? Yes, Ms. Soto.
I have a question about the thank you for the presentation, and thank you to the committee members for all their hard work. And also thank you to all the organizations that applied for CDBG funding and for the great work that you all are doing in your communities through your nonprofits, through these nonprofits. My question about the contingency plan is about the decrease in funding. If council members are to pool their monies together to, let's say, bring an agency that hasn't been funded, get an agency that wasn't recommended for funded through the city council pooled money, if there is a decrease in funding, would you be cutting from the organizations that received pooled money from the city council?
Thank you, Councilmember Soto, for that question, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Soto, the contingencies do state so that if you were to fund any unfunded agencies, we would have to cut from the bottom. Therefore, it would be one of the agencies you fund. However, these are recommendations. You can always amend those recommendations and change the contingencies as you see fit.
Okay. My other question is pertaining to how our city is preparing in the event of decreased funds. There's so much happening from Washington that it's so hard to keep up. But I know that other cities, neighboring cities, are having conversations about decreased funding or just the complete elimination of funding. We know that domestic spending from the White House, there's been, I don't know how many executive orders gone out about cuts to domestic spending, and that includes CDBG funding. And so, one, like, how responsive are the city our contacts from the city to our HUD representatives? Has there been any delays in communication with the change of administration? And have they shared if there's going to be delays?
Councilmember Soto, members of the City Council, great questions. We are very lucky. We have great communication with our HUD rep, and she's been very responsive. They are also in the same boat we are, where they're not getting a lot of direction. However, we are members of the National Community Development Association. They're a wonderful organization that advocates for these federal dollars, and they have they have a lot of contacts at the White House, at the federal level, and we are We are pretty confident we will be okay for 25, 26 with the numbers staying about the same. That's been the information we've received. Obviously, there hasn't been confirmation based on us getting our final numbers. However, it's not uncommon for us to be in April and not have our final numbers.
Okay.
So far, we haven't heard a total elimination of the funds, and so we're just moving forward with our process.
And I see here that the total amount that was recommended by the committee comes out to 209? About 209?
It's less than 209, it's about
171?
171 because it does not include the 37,500. But it is 209 for public services.
Okay. Have there been conversations internally amongst staff about, or probably there hasn't, but I guess this question would be directed more towards the city manager, you know, or our acting finance director, but if worse came to shove, I would hate to have to cut any of the proposals that get approved by the city council tonight. Would there be a possibility for us to be able to say, you know what, for this one time, can we move funding from the general fund in order to fill the gap, if there is a gap from the federal government?
That'd be discussion during the budget process.
Okay.
If the city council wanted to do something like that, that'd be a budget discussion at that point in time.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions for now.
Any other questions from the dais? Thank you, Mr. Rojo.
Thank you.
Oh.
No, thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I know it's a really tough job. So thank you for everything, you guys and everybody who volunteers their time to make this. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to go to. I've got public requests to speak. So, what do you want from us tonight? Oh, I turned it off.
So tonight, we will ask you to allocate your 7,500.
Okay.
And ask that you approve
Okay.
the public services allocations and
Okay.
the capital, as well as adopt the contingencies.
Okay.
And like I mentioned, you are able to make amendments or changes to those contingencies. These are just recommendations that we developed so that we don't have to start the
you know
process.
the problem that presents if you say that. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to clear that for everyone. Okay, thank you. I have 14 requests to speak.
Okay.
And so Yolanda Vasquez and Greg Cornell.
Madam Mayor, before we get started,
Yes.
if I could just name some names of people that have submitted some written public comments.
Sure.
Written public comments came from Amia Lopez, Rebecca Segoviano, Carla Cueva, Gloria Garay, Rosemary Stone, and Executive Director Victoria Reitmere with Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse.
Thank you. Okay. Yolanda Vasquez and Greg, is it Cornell, am I saying? Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, excuse me just for a second, Madam Mayor, if you can open up the public hearing?
Yeah, I did. I said, I'm opening up the public hearing, yeah. Yeah.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Yolanda Vasquez. I'm the Regional Director for Catholic Charities of Santa Barbara County. We are asking you to support the working poor, children, and the elderly in the city of Santa Maria by continuing to support and fund Catholic Charities Utility Assistance Program through the allocation of CDBG funding for fiscal year 25-26. While the cost of living continues to rise in our city, seniors on fixed income, service workers, and families who make minimum wage or have seasonal work or work in seasonal work in local agriculture communities in our community still struggle to survive. I know we weren't allocated anything this funding cycle, but I'm asking you to please take a look at what we do. We provide utility assistance, immediate assistance for clients that are behind in their bills for up to 3 months. If this is gone, those clients wouldn't be able to get that assistance from us. I have Greg Cornell here with me today. He's our Director of Development, and he just has a couple of statistics he wanted to let you know about as far as Catholic Charities.
Thank you. And Mayor, council members, and staff, it's a great privilege and honor to present to you what I consider successful people. So congratulations to all of you. Since 1962, Catholic Charities in Santa Maria has been serving the working poor, individuals, families, children, elderly, and the handicapped. And as the one who wrote the grant last year, which was funded, and the one who wrote the grant with Ruth, our colleague here this year, I'm here just to report on some of the issues that were addressed by our regional director. Last fiscal year, more than 1,707 households, consisting of more than 6,606 unduplicated individuals, depend on Catholic Charities for their basic needs: nutritious food, rent and utility assistance, clothing that is often used for interviewing, and items for their children and infant, such as diapers and formula. Without the partnership and belief in Catholic Charities Santa Maria from the city, providing these resources to our clients at the same level would be extremely difficult, as you can imagine. We appeal to the city leadership to support our current CDBG grant request and the work the agency is doing locally. The City of Santa Maria has been in a CDBG partnership fiscal year since 2009-2010 with a grant of $20,266 or over $200,000. To conclude, in fiscal year 23-24, Catholic Charities Santa Maria provided support to 6,600 unduplicated individuals, 1,759 households, 1,045 children 0 to 5, 923 children 6 to 11, 866 children 12 to 17. Total children 2,834. Thank you.
Thank you. Martina Areola?
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I was wondering
Okay.
if I could just give this to you and the council members. It's a list of 51 signatures from clients that came to receive food today that would like to make sure that we hopefully get some assistance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Martina Areola, followed by Midge Nicosia, followed by Bradley Kirkman.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. My name is Martina Areola. I work with Smooth Transportation. We provide services and transportation for our seniors 60 and over. With our transportation, a lot of our seniors don't have their driver's license, they don't know what to do, and they call us. We provide service to doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, wherever they need to go, as long as it's Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. We only charge $2 each way. Our boss that passed away, he never wanted to raise the prices because he said that, you know, everybody, the seniors are on a fixed income. So we kept it at $2 each way. We let them know that if they need an aide to assist them, we will not charge for that person. It is just $2 each way. So we ask that you look into Smooth and see if we can get our, at least something from the funds. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. And I just appreciate everything. I mean, our seniors are number one in our community. A lot of our seniors, when they call us, sometimes they talk about other things other than transportation because we're like the only ones that they talk to because our family members are out of town. So they talk to us and they tell us, I'm sorry for keeping you on the phone too long. It's okay, you know. And sometimes, you know, they call or if they cancel a ride because they're sick, we'll check on them the next day to make sure they're okay because they're our regular transportation. And if we don't hear from them, our regular passengers, we will check on them. If we can't contact them, there's a couple of times I call the Santa Maria PD just to do a welfare check because we are concerned about them. Our seniors, I mean, sometimes they take other transportation, but they said they can't afford it with the income that they have. They are on a budget. So I ask that you look into this, you know, funding smooth. We are a very good, I think it's a good thing for the community, for the city of Santa Maria, the seniors and having transportation, because I know one day I'm going to need that ride, or my dad's going to need that ride. And our drivers are all professional drivers. We do background checks, fingerprints, and we make sure that they are professional at what they do. We do provide lifts for seniors that are in wheelchairs, and we provide assistance. You know, it's curb to curb, but I want to thank you for hearing me out, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Midge Nicosia, followed by Bradley Kirkman. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Midge Nicosia. I am the Community Outreach and Special Initiatives Manager. That's a whole lot of title. For Community Partners in Caring. Yes, I'm Hilda's other half that she spoke about earlier. We are a nonprofit started in 97. And we are here, our main office is here in Santa Maria, but we do handle all of Santa Barbara County. We recruit and match volunteers with seniors who no longer drive, and also those with disabilities who are unable to get their license, maybe because they have a seizure disorder, take a medication, something of that nature. Our seniors are not wheelchair bound. We use volunteer manpower, and they're not medically trained, but they do have great personalities. Our volunteers are so supportive and make beautiful friendships with our senior clients. I have a few statistics for the CDBG information. In the last contiguous 12 months, we've provided a total of 3,205 trips to Santa Maria residents, seniors, or clients. 27,100 miles were driven by our volunteers to help Santa Maria clients. We have 289 Santa Maria residents that are enrolled in our services right now and able to access services at any time. 41 volunteers who assist Santa Maria residents right now with our services. 126 total clients were served in the last 12 consecutive months that lived in Santa Maria. We have, of course, more clients throughout the Santa Barbara County. Our demographics are, I'm poorly cited. 89 females, 38 males, an age range from 41 to 98 years of age. We had some over 100-year-old clients that recently passed. We have 30 Hispanic or Latino clients and 96 non-Hispanic in that number of our prior 12 months of service for Santa Maria Valley clients. My job is to go out into the community and tell people about our services and how we help seniors and how they can help their own neighbors. When my father passed away in 2012, and we lived in Orcutt, or they did, I lived hours away. My mother no longer drove because she was on medications for an autoimmune issue. And we actually found community partners back then to help her get to her doctor's appointments and banking and shopping and things of that nature. Our agency really provides services to those seniors who are still active, still willing to live independently and wanting to live independently, but have lost that ability to drive. And I can relate because I'm blind, legally blind in one eye, and if I were to be permanently blind in my left eye, I would need that type of assistance as well. I'm a senior at 61 this year, and it's, it comes on like that, doesn't it? But it's really important to keep our seniors independent and really safe from the decline of isolation that happens when they can no longer get out on their own. They can't just grab the keys and take off to Starbucks or go shopping at Walmart on their own. It all has to be planned. So we really appreciate the designated funds from the council and the CDBG that we've had in the past, and hopefully we'll continue to have in the future to support our programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nicosia. Bradley Kirkman, followed by Jacob Buxton.
Good evening, Mayor Patino, City Council members, and community of Santa Maria. My name is Bradley Kirkman, and I work for the Independent Living Resource Center. For many years, ILRC has utilized Community Development Block Grant funding to enhance the services for individuals with disabilities in Santa Maria through programs such as housing navigation, personal assistance, assistive technologies, and emergency preparedness planning. ILRC ensures that our community members have the resources and support they need to overcome barriers to actively participate in our community. I'm the Emergency Preparedness Services Manager, so that's what I do. Our emergency preparedness initiatives have empowered numerous individuals to develop comprehensive disaster plans. In natural disasters, over 50% of people that are left behind are people with disabilities and seniors. We can address their unique needs in providing peace of mind as California continues to face natural disasters. We respectfully urge the City Council to consider ILRC for the CDBG funding to sustain and expand services, ensuring Santa Maria disabled community receives essential support for independent living. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Jacob Buxton.
My name is Jacob. Yes, I work in I am the system training coordinator at the Independent Living Center. For 11.5 years, I have been honored to be a part of this great organization. I am here today to ask you to allocate CDBG funding to ILRC. Over my time at ILRC, I have witnessed the impact of our work in the Santa Maria community with a fire broke out in an apartment complex with many code violations. ILRC assisted residents with disabilities to get meaningful relocation assistance from their landlord. Our staff has provided ongoing training on disability awareness to first responders in the city. Although dozens of clients in the city have turned to ILRC to learn about their rights under the ADA and Fair Housing Act. Most of all, impact for work was completed with a team of 2 or 3 part-time staff members in recent years with assistance from the city and the CDBG funding. Our office has grown to have 4 full-time staff members. Currently, we use the funding to remain our present level of service. Tonight, you'll have the opportunity to assist us in maintaining and supporting its impact in the Santa Maria community. By investing in our organization, you're helping thousands of people with disabilities reproductive take care members in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Buxton. Alexa Martin, followed by Chelsea Crable.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. You all have a very difficult job tonight. My name's Alexa Martin, and I'm the Deputy Director at ILRC, newly known as Access Central Coast. We're going through a name change. Many of you are familiar with us. We've been proudly serving Santa Maria for 49 years. ILRC is the only cross-disability, peer-run organization in the area. We serve people of all ages, all disabilities, and all income levels. Our mission is simple but powerful: to promote independent living and full access for people with disabilities and older adults through advocacy, education, and action. Every day, we help people navigate benefits, find and keep housing, access personal assistance and assistive technology, prepare for emergencies, and connect to services designed specifically for the deaf and blind communities. These aren't just helpful programs, they're life-sustaining. They keep people housed, fed, and out of institutions. They help folks return to their communities and to stay there. And we're the only organization in Santa Maria providing this wide range of direct services to the disability community. Local support doesn't just help us, it is essential. It allows us to meet our state and federal matching requirements and shows that the city of Santa Maria stands with its residents with disabilities. We're deeply grateful for the support that the city has provided to us over the years, and we recognize how difficult the grant committee's decisions must be, with many deserving applicants. But I want to be clear, not receiving CDBG funding this year would be devastating. We are already facing targeted cuts to key funding sources, as you discussed tonight, and we're fighting to protect every single dollar at this point. The reality is that since the first time we opened our Santa Maria office about 40 years ago, we are facing the very real possibility of major staff reductions or possibly having to close our doors entirely in Santa Maria. There are no other organizations funded this year that provide these comprehensive direct services. The disability community in Santa Maria could lose a vital and irreplaceable resource. For context, last year, we provided 1,876 services to 262 Santa Maria residents. I am joined here tonight by other ILRC stakeholders to respectfully urge City Council to consider allocating discretionary funds to ILRC. Your support will ensure that older adults and residents with disabilities can continue living safely, independently, and with dignity in Santa Maria. Thank you for your time and your continued support.
Thank you very much. Chelsea Grable, followed by Mary Moore, followed by Araceli Cencion.
Hi, good evening. My name is actually Chelsea Lesner Buxton. That was my maiden name. So I am here today to talk to you about the discretionary funds for the Independent Living Resource Center. I am a consumer, and I had first come across ILRC in 2020 when I was actively losing my vision and feeling very isolated. I had only come across a few other people with disabilities in my life, and never as an adult. I can only imagine what that experience would have been without the help I received from ILRC staff. It was the first time in my adult life that I felt like I was among people who truly understood the fears and struggles of having a degenerative eye condition. Staff helped me with obtaining orientation and mobility training so I could remain independent. For a while, they were also helping me find low-income housing applications, helping me with those applications. And then in 2021, I got to experience ILRC in a completely different way as I had become an intern. It was even more clear then that ILRC has such a far reach, and it really brings our community together. In these uncertain times, it is of even more importance that our community has safeguards such as ILRC. We are only one of the first groups to be targeted by what does that say if no one is willing to fight for our rights? It will not stop with us. And with that, I again ask you to consider giving ILRC discretionary funds tonight and keep our community together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. Mary Moore, followed by Araceli Cencion.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Mary Moore, and I'm a coordinator at Independent Living Resource Center, now Access Central Coast. And we're a disability, well, as you know, we're a disability resource center, resource and service center located in Santa Maria. I'm here today to speak about how discretionary funding from the City Council would help us continue and expand our crucial work in serving individuals with disabilities in our community. At Access Central Coast, we provide reliable, trusted access to information and offer one-on-one advocacy that empowers individuals to live more independent and fulfilling lives. We serve as a vital resource, offering everything from independent living skills and training and creative problem solving to making referrals for support in areas such as food, clothing, transportation, legal aid, and employment opportunities. Our housing specialists and transition staff are committed to building a trusting relationships with clients and meeting them where they are, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and helping them achieve their goals, whatever those may be. The direct housing support we provide often makes the difference for individuals working to remain housed or those struggling to obtain housing, thus preventing homelessness. We are a no wrong door organization, which means anyone, regardless of their age, race, or background, can walk through our doors and find the support they need, often finding us after other doors were closed in their faces or told they had no options. From the moment they reach out, we are a consistent, unwavering hand to hold, whether they are looking for immediate assistance or embarking on a long-term journey towards self-sufficiency. Your support through discretionary funding will directly impact the lives of those who rely on us. It will allow us to continue providing life-changing services, foster empowerment, and build trust and resilience within the community. With your help, we can ensure that those with disabilities in Santa Maria have the opportunities and resources they need to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. Araceli Cencion.
Good evening. Arcelia Cencion, Family Service Agency, Chief Strategy and North County Programs Officer. Thank you to all the committee members for their time to review and really get to know FSA. They were very inquisitive, and I really appreciate their presentation during the committee hearings. Family Service Agency operates a long-term care ombudsman program. LTCO advocates for all residents living in Santa Maria, including the 53 facilities operating within the city limits. That includes 1,081 beds. The LTCO program ensures that seniors in long-term care are treated with dignity and respect, and that the facilities operate with full regard for resident health, safety, and independence. Through regular unannounced visitation, ombudsmen detect issues such as abuse, negligent care, inadequate nutrition, over-medication, sedation of residents, and unhygienic living conditions. Ombudsmen take steps to resolve these issues before residents are injured or suffer harmful consequences. LTCOs also witness advocate health directives, which are legally required, prevent resident evictions, and provide information about education to residents, their families, and caregivers. Ombudsman visit each skilled nursing facility weekly and each residential care facility monthly, well in excess of the required state visitation schedules. There is no other agency in the city of Santa Maria providing residents of the city 53 long-term care facilities with support and advocacy of trained, state-certified ombudsman representatives. This protection for long-term care residents is crucial for Santa Maria's most vulnerable seniors. I urge you to adopt the recommendation from the Committee for CDBG funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sancion. Ann McCarty, followed by Michelle Ward.
Good evening again, Honorable Mayor Patino and members of the City Council. As I shared earlier, I'm Ann McCarty, Executive Director of the North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center. As a director, I'm often tasked with asking for support, a role I don't always find easy. Some may call it a downfall. I call it being just a tad bit stubborn because I like to do things myself. But when it comes to the center and the needs of our community, I can't afford to be hesitant. I want to start by sincerely thanking the commissioners who dedicated their time and effort to reviewing CDBG applications, visiting agencies, and making difficult funding decisions. I deeply appreciate the process and understand the challenge of dividing limited resources. However, I must also state for the record, we need a little more. The funding we receive from Santa Maria CDBG is critical. It helps us keep the doors of our Santa Maria office open. The number of CDBG eligible clients we serve is increasing at an unprecedented rate. Since our last grant year, we have seen a 154% increase in the number of counseling sessions that were provided. This surge is far beyond what we anticipated, and while we are honored to provide a safe, accessible space for those in crisis, the reality is that our small staff and limited budget are stretched thinner than ever. Several years ago, at the direction of city staff, we began applying for CDBG funding to help cover our rent. Last year, our landlord implemented a rent increase with scheduled increases over the next 5 years. While we did not request coverage for our entire rent, we now face an additional $3,315 shortfall, a gap that is becoming increasingly difficult to close. I don't take this ask lightly. I recognize that all agencies here tonight are doing vital work and are equally deserving of support. But with the urgent and growing demand for our services, I must ask if there's any flexibility in your available funding, please consider covering this amount. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Your support ensures that survivors in our community continue to have a safe place to turn in their darkest moments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCarty. Michelle Ward, followed by Nicole Freeman.
Hello, Madam Mayor and City Council. My name is Michelle Ward. I'm a community integration specialist at Independent Living Resource Center. I'm here tonight to urge you to use your discretionary funds to support ILRC. I want to tell you a little bit about the impact of the work we do. I have a client in Santa Maria. Let's call her Mary. Mary broke her femur back in January and ended up in a skilled nursing facility. She's on Social Security. I'm not sure if you know this or not, but while in a skilled nursing facility, someone who's on Social Security has to give up about 90% of that Social Security check to the skilled nursing facility as rent. Well, Mary depends on her Social Security to pay her rent in her home. This leaves her unable to pay her rent, having to make these payments, putting her housing at risk. Mary wanted to leave the skilled nursing facility before she fell too far behind. She also wanted to go home to heal, but she needed a caregiver. She applied for IHSS, but that left a gap in care that was just not acceptable. Mary was afraid she would have to stay in the skilled nursing facility until she got her IHSS approved, thus putting her housing at risk. I began working with Mary while she was in the skilled nursing facility. I was able to communicate with her landlord and advise him of the situation. He was very understanding and agreed to a payment plan to get her caught up. I also let Mary know about a grant that ILRC obtained called Bridging the Gap that was allotted for situations where there was a gap in care. We applied for the grant and Mary was approved. She was paired with a caregiver from Coast Caregivers within 48 hours of discharge, and her IHSS application is still in progress. Mary has told me many times of situations where she would have ended up back in skilled nursing if not for her caregiver. She is also paying back her landlord in monthly payments and was able to prevent eviction. These discretionary funds help those in our community who are older and are disabled. These are the most vulnerable people in our community. Please consider supporting ILRC with discretionary funds. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ward. Nicole Freeman, followed by Daniela Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor Patino and City Council. My name is Nicole Freeman, and I'm a housing specialist with the CalAIM program through the Independent Living Resource Center, or ILRC. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight on behalf of the clients we serve, many of whom live right here in Santa Maria. In my role, I help individuals who are elderly or living with disabilities overcome major barriers to housing. This includes helping people find housing, pay for move-in costs, communicate with landlords, and most importantly, stay housed through up to a year of ongoing support. These may sound like simple tasks, but for our clients, due to age, illness, or disability, they are overwhelming. Without this support, many would face eviction, hospitalization, institutionalization, or worse. I'll never forget the day I answered a call and heard a frail voice whisper, "Please help me." It was a woman who had recently suffered a stroke. She was weighing in at 90 pounds, living alone, and unable to even apply for in-home supportive services because the application process was too complicated to navigate on her own. She didn't qualify for traditional help due to income limits, and she was completely alone, slipping through the cracks. Because of the funding that ILRC has received in the past, I was able to respond. We got her enrolled in a local adult day program. She now has people checking on her regularly through APS, our organization, and community organizations. She's no longer isolated, she's no longer terrified, and she's no longer invisible. In the past year, our Santa Maria office alone has served approximately 262 individuals, real people who would otherwise have nowhere to turn. Each one of these people has a name, a face, and a story. They are our neighbors, our seniors, and our most vulnerable residents here in Santa Maria. In addition to housing support, our Santa Maria office also helps individuals transition from skilled nursing facilities back into the community. We assist people who are ready to leave institutional care, rediscover their independence and autonomy, restoring not just their housing, but their dignity. We also support emergency preparedness for individuals who rely on life-saving medical equipment. A power outage can be a life-threatening event. We help them create emergency plans and secure backup power solutions to make sure they're protected if disaster strikes. Without CDBG discretionary funding, neighbors like her and so many others will be left without that vital help. The reality is stark. Without this funding, there will be no one there to pick up the phone. At ILRC, we are often one of the first lines of support, standing between a safe home and homelessness, between stability and crisis, between someone fading into the margins or being given the chance to thrive. We're not just helping people stay housed, we're helping them maintain dignity, safety, and self-sufficiency. That is what this funding makes possible. I urge you on behalf of so many who rely on ILRC to ensure that this vital nonprofit continues to receive the support and funding that it needs. Organizations like ILRC are not optional, they are essential. Our work saves lives, empowers individuals, and creates lasting change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lehman. Daniela Garcia, followed by Edwin Weaver.
Hello, Mayor, Madam, and City Council members. My name is Daniela Garcia. I am the Benefits Specialist with Independent Living Resource Center, or ILRC. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight on behalf of our clients that we serve here in Santa Maria. As a benefits specialist here at Independent Living Resource Center, I help individuals who are elderly or living with disabilities navigate and assist with applying for benefits. This includes helping people in our community apply for Social Security benefits, social services benefits, healthcare benefits, and unemployment benefits. I also help assist with denials and help assist with filling out appeals and waivers. Our people in our community here in Santa Maria come to Independent Living Resource Center for assistance, navigation to apply for these benefits. Most of the time, they're not aware of the benefits and resources that are available to them. Many of my clients come to me and have no income and don't know where to start. I have a story that I'd like to share. I had a client come to me and they have been homeless for 12 years and they had no birth certificate, no ID, no income. They didn't know where to start and they wanted to change their life. I was able to help my client get their birth certificate from a different state, help him get an ID, a California Real ID, and with all the other resources and programs that Santa Maria has to offer, they were able to help pay for the birth certificate and the ID for him. And once he was able to get those documents, he was able to apply for benefits and Social Security benefits and was able to receive income. And when he found out that he was going to start receiving income, tears came down from his face because he had no income for 12 years. And that was the start for him to start building a stable life. Independent Resource Center is hope for people in our community. Seniors and people with disabilities are the most vulnerable in our community and need help with information and applying for benefits. ILRC have many services that help our community that are needed. Many people need a place where they have access to resources and programs. They need a helping hand, and that is Independent Living Resource Center. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Edwin Weaver.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. So thankful for you and your service. My name is Edwin Weaver. I'm the Executive Director at Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley. We want to thank the CDBG staff and board for recommending us for funding. It's for our Students in Transition program. So this program was designed specifically to meet the needs of our students and their families who are unhoused or underhoused. As you might know, in education, you're deemed homeless when you end up with substandard housing, like many of our families who are living 2 and 3 families in a house designed for one. So, we'll have a family with 20 individuals, maybe 4 families in a 3-bedroom home and 2 baths. And so a lot of the families, when they find themselves in those situations, end up either getting evicted or they find themselves completely unhoused. And our job, the school districts have partnered with us to hire staff to support the families when they're in those situations. And so, like many agencies, many agencies depend on school funding, we're realizing that a lot of that funding was through ARPA and the American Rescue Plan funding, and so it's starting to dwindle away. And so slowly, those contracts are getting smaller and smaller. So we asked CDBG to help supplement that program so that we could support our families. You know this because I've talked to each of you individually, but Santa Maria unfortunately has the 2nd highest homeless student rate in the state of California. Our elementary school district does. And we know that these families work very, very hard. They want their children to be successful in school. And so when they find themselves having to deal with work and housing instability, it's very difficult. So end up having children pulled out of school to meet with families to go shopping or for a house, or having the difficulty of going to doctor's appointments or getting benefits. And so what our staff does is support the families through these process so they can find housing, stabilize, and while the children can remain in school and be successful. So thank you so much for funding this vital program for our community. We really appreciate it, and good luck with your deliberation.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Okay, I will close the hearing, bring this back to the council.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so we're, the number 2, consider the Block Grants Advisory Committee's Public Services and Capital Funding recommendation. Do any members of the Block Grants Advisory Committee wish to speak? Okay.
So late.
Here we go.
Ms. Greeley?
Mayor Patino and esteemed council members, my name is Mackenzie Greeley. I volunteer. This is my 2nd year on the committee, so thanks for letting me represent one of you. So this has been a really hard year, and I work in grants at Allen Hancock College, so I know firsthand what some of these administrative changes at the federal level can mean for these nonprofits, especially for those most at risk, which is what HUD funding is for, is to provide critical services, revitalize communities, invest in education, and create long-term social stability within our community. You have a really hard decision. I don't envy you. I make a recommendation and you have to make the decision whether, well, committee makes a recommendation and you ultimately have to vote. I really appreciate all of the nonprofits that came out today and the community members for making statements advocating for your programs. You know most of all how critical your services are. We get a snapshot in an application and we have to assess based on that information. You know the day-to-day and what that service means to you. And so getting our representatives an opportunity to see what services are provided is always helpful in making decisions. So thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for the encouragement, Ms. Greeley. Okay, who wants to start this?
I would like to jump in.
Oh,
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Escobedo?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The nonprofit that I would be inclined to put in my allocation would be Independent Living Resource Center, and there's a couple of reasons of that. Oh, I don't know are we in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's I think it's a very unique nonprofit that targets special population that is special needs. Then I was looking at the performance rate for those who are watching us. There's the committee has certain criteria, and they put a number 1 to 5, depending on how responsive the nonprofit has been. And they have a 5, which is the highest. And the third one would be that they're here. I think it's important for nonprofits and who are trying to to get some funding to really put an effort on doing that. That talks that you guys don't take it for granted, that you really want to be there. And you guys being here at this time on a Tuesday, enjoying a council meeting, which it just for me, it means. So I would like to invite one of my fellow council members to help me and fund the now it's what's a new upcoming name? Central Coast. Access Central Coast.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I was
Mr.
looking.
Ms. Aguilar Hernandez?
Yes, I was looking at the impact that the money would have, and I do notice North County Rate Crisis, this program's going to serve 513 unduplicated individuals with 1539 units of service with the use of the CDBG funds. A lot of the other programs said they would serve 3, 7, 8 people, and I know it's really difficult, but I think the most impact that we can have for the amount of money, so the amount I believe they're getting is 16,686. So if I contribute 4,315 out of my 75, does that get them to the 21 max?
The max is 20,924 right now.
924.
So let me do the quick math here.
Okay.
$4,239.
Okay. So that leaves minus
21.
3261, right?
Correct.
And I think the rest should go out of my allocation to the people that did show up and did participate. And I do appreciate when people show up to council meetings to educate us as to the services that are needed. So I would like to allocate the rest to, what is the new name going to be? Access Central Coast. You guys should show up to more council meetings.
Ms. Zeta? Ms. Flores, who wants to go next?
So you allocated 3261 to ILRC?
Yes.
Another,
And-
like
and 40
10,000 or something. That be?
Yes.
So you have to get up to 15, right?
Minimum is 15, yes.
15.
I'll match Escobedo's
The 75?
to ILRC.
Okay, so that's 15.
Thank you for the good work.
So that would put ILRC or
Above.
Access Central Coast at $18,261.
That's it?
Oh,
That's it, that's all.
It's important to show up to the dance. It certainly is. Ms. Flores?
Allocate to Fighting Back Santa Maria and also to the Access Central Coast.
They already have their,
Oh, they have enough?
are they
Okay.
limited already?
Okay.
No.
They're at 18,261.
Oh, I
So-
mean, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
The
How
max.
much more do they need?
They're at 18,261. The max currently is 20,924, which would mean that you could allocate
$2,663.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you for the math.
and the rest would go to,
Fighting Back.
Fighting Back
Fighting
Santa
Back.
Maria.
okay. That would put Fighting Back at 19,837.
Okay, and what is the max?
20,924.
20,924. Okay. Okay, so I should have started first because it would have been easier. And
Are you feeling the
I'm not going to
pressure?
do all the
I feel
math,
it.
Rosie. I'm going to leave that up to you.
That's why I'm jumping
That's
out
why
right off
Carlos
the
went
top.
first. He cheated.
Okay, next year remind me. Okay, so how much short are we on fighting back to get to the 20?
It's $1,000
something?
$1,087.
Okay. So we're going to be chipping away at this 7,500 of mine. Okay.
Okay.
And so North County rape crisis is at their peak?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So let's do community partners in caring.
Community Partners in Caring currently has 16,685.
Okay.
If you wanted to give them the full 20,924, it would be similar to Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez allocation to North County, which would be $4,239.
Okay. And then what do I have left after that?
After that, you have $3,261.
Okay, go ahead and put that on Meals on Wheels.
Okay. So we are adding 4,239 to Community Partners in Caring. Correct? Oh, no, wait.
No, it's
To-
4,000, yes, no, 4,239 and then 1,087, so she had 2,174 left.
Thank you for helping me out there, Mrs. Aguilar Hernandez.
Oh,
I'm
so
trying
you
to
did,
go home.
Next time,
you did
like,
want to do 1,087
recalculate.
to
To Fighting Back Santa Maria.
Fighting back.
Fighting Back?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And then
See,
she,
I had this all figured out on my chart here, but anyway, okay.
Okay.
And then you said North County rape crisis is
tapped out.
Out, okay. So then, I said the Meals on Wheels?
You said 4,239 to Community Partners in
Community
Caring.
Partners in Caring.
So then that leaves you with
2,174
And change.
to Meals on Wheels.
And some change. Where am I gonna need to
So the
rewatch?
2,074 goes to Meals on Wheels?
Meals on Wheels?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I can't even do math on a regular basis, but if you talk about money, I can do math.
Got it?
Yes, thank you. And do we need a motion on this? And
Yeah,
then
we will.
also a separate motion for the contingencies?
Yes, Okay, I do want to take the opportunity to thank the CDBG committee. You guys have really a tough job because you have to fit in the needs of the community with the criteria, and you go to all these agencies and you look at all the application, and so that's really tough. And there was a time when the city council used to do it all. And we have a difficult enough time up here just managing our
Keeping track.
7,500. So I really want to thank you, and I thank everyone for showing up tonight because this is very, very important. And it's very important to the community. And your vote really counts.
Yes.
So thank you for being here. So we will now, I will entertain a motion.
A second.
I'll move.
I'll move.
For,
I move, you
who
second.
moved? I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, you want to call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. Okay, now the next is on the contingency.
Correct, unless city clerks needs a separate motion for capital?
You do not.
No? Perfect. On the contingencies, yes.
Okay.
Please.
For the contingency, Madam Mayor, before we make the motion, I would like to ask the council and staff to make sure that if we see a decrease in funding, for us to have a conversation about funding or filling the gap through the general fund.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, like just for us to come back and have this discussion.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I just would want to make sure that if funding is decreased, that we are made aware of that so that we can have a discussion about it during the budgeting.
During the budget
I
hearing.
would second that motion.
Okay. Okay.
So adopting the contingency plan as is.
With the
caveat. Okay.
With the caveat that if there's a decrease in funding, we need to have a discussion about filling that gap if possible.
Thank you. Okay, that's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez?
Aye.
Councilmember Flores?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo?
Aye.
Mayor Patino?
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much. And I do want to thank the council members not changing and subtracting from the list that the CDBG put forward, because that
You're
is
welcome.
even more complex. Yes.
I wanted to do that, but it's too
I'll
late.
make a motion.
No.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. So the next, we'll have a report by City Manager David Rowlands.
Did you want to keep track of your money?
Thank you. There are a couple items, upcoming agendas. We'll have the Boys and Girls Club 2025 Youth of the Year recognition, the Quimby Fee Ordinance, Municipal Code Amendment, bids of the quarter. We have the second reading of the allocations for the CDBG. We have to do a fire hazard severity zones ordinance, second reading. We'll have a pavement management presentation as well coming up. And that's all.
Thank you. Have oral reports of council members. Go ahead.
The Women Lawyers Association board meeting, and I also attended the First Friday event. I went at 4 o'clock when it started. It was really nice. A lot of vendors out there. It was a little chilly and windy, but it was nice.
I attended on Wednesday, March 19th, ribbon cutting ceremony for the 3CE in San Luis Obispo. Thursday, March 20th, I took a tour of the museum and the library. Wednesday, March 26th, I had a meeting with the United Way and had a tour. Thursday, March 27th, Santa Maria Housing Summit at the college. And then Monday, March 31st, the affordable housing tour. That was awesome.
Okay. Ms. Soto?
No reportable items.
Okay. Mr. Escobedo?
What's the last? Yes. The 18.
A lot of lists.
Okay, on March 26, I attend the, 27, I attend the Central Coast Water Authority Board meeting. And that's everything I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you. March 19th, I attended the Central Coast Community Energy Board of Directors meeting and open house ribbon cutting in San Luis Obispo. On the 20th, I attended SBCAG in the morning, APCD in the afternoon. The 24th of March, I spoke to fourth graders at Lebanon Elementary School. And some of the biggest questions they ask: what is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? How old are you? How much money do you make? Yeah. I guess I had already told them everything they needed to know about civics, and so they were asking these extra questions. The 25th of March, I attended the Santa Maria Valley Chamber Business Expo. The 27th, I attended the Santa Maria Valley Housing Summit at Hancock College. That was really well done this year. It was just, it was 2 hours, and you just, I don't think I looked at my watch once. It seemed to go so fast, and there was just so much information. On the 28th, I also did the Rick Blameyer show on a Friday morning. And so I pretty much let the people in the community know what's going on in the city of Santa Maria. On the 31st, I did the affordable housing tour, and then this morning I did the Ben Hayes show. Any other?
I forgot to mention, I
Yes.
did go speak with the sophomore class at Santa Maria High. Some of them wanted to be lawyers, but unlike the fourth graders, they didn't have questions. They were just texting. So
They were
I think the fourth
texting.
graders were better.
They were snoozing off, yeah. Okay. No further business. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
You got lucky with the fourth graders.
Thank you.